Welcome to another segment of Biohacking with BioWitch. In this segment, I'm going to talk about the first lunar cycle week, which takes place between new moon and first quarter moon. Previously, I have spoken about some of the astrological aspects that are coming up for this first lunar cycle week, along with the shifts of the planetary aspects. There is also going to be a shift in your mental space. So the brain produces various neurochemicals known as neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters play a major role in how our brain operates, how we function, because all things start in the brain. Even bodily movements are a result of all the various signals happening in the brain, so between the brain and the body. In this lunar cycle week 1, I focus on acetylcholine. Acetylcholine has some very important functions in the body and brain. Some of the ways to know acetylcholine is low is if you have poor memory, whether it's visual or verbal, poor levels of creativity, having mental math difficulty, and slow responsiveness, which are just some of the signs that acetylcholine is low. Acetylcholine is also needed to help increase serotonin levels and dopamine levels. So if acetylcholine levels go very, very low, expect this to have some major impact on your serotonin levels and your dopamine levels, two of the very important neurotransmitters which help regulate mood, which is why it's ideal to focus on acetylcholine levels before you focus on any other kind of neurotransmitters, trying to play around with other brain chemistries. But it's also important to know when to increase your acetylcholine levels. Now, I've assigned acetylcholine to the first lunar cycle week, and I'll talk more about this in the future, but for now it just seems very imperative that acetylcholine is the first neurotransmitter to start in that first week. When acetylcholine levels increase, there are ways to test your levels. I tend to use word search, some kind of puzzles, things that are memory based too. That helps a lot. It just gives you some idea of what your initial levels are, and then as you try to increase your acetylcholine levels, you can see how much you've increased just by seeing the improvement in your ability to finish off the puzzles, your level of mental responsiveness, if it's slow or it's speeded up. That's a really good way to determine acetylcholine levels. Now, acetylcholine is excitatory, but it also has inhibitory effects. And in simple terms, just think of excitatory as it causes excitement, and inhibitory as it calms down that level of excitement, which basically means the first lunar cycle week is going to be quite exciting. Another very important effect of acetylcholine is that it tends to increase REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement sleep. So dreams can be very enhanced during this period. Acetylcholine is also released when we're dreaming. So very high amounts of acetylcholine, you will have some very, very vivid dreams. They will feel so accelerated, very unusual. So if you were to increase very high levels, expect some sleep disturbances. There are many, many ways to increase your acetylcholine levels, and I will be sharing some biohack formulas and some things you can do nutritionally to increase acetylcholine levels, some practices, methods and techniques in some other segments. So do stay tuned by hitting the subscribe button.